The Senate will come to order. Senator Jones will lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Majors, would you please take the roll?
Aguilar, Balmer, Baumgardner, Brophy, Cadman, Crowder, Grantham, Guzman, Harvey, Heath, Herpin, Hill, Hodge, John, Johnston, Jones, Kafalis, Kerr, King, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Newell, Nicholson, Renfro,
It's nice of the pastor to mention.
Rivera, Roberts, Scheffel, Schwartz,
He's done it right, haven't we?
Stedman, Talktrop, Todd, Ulibarri, Zenzinger. Madam President,
Here. With 35 present, 0 absent, 0 excused, the Senate has a quorum. Motion to adopt the journal. Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the reading of the Journal of May 5th be dispensed with and the Journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary. Thank you.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Committee reports.
May 5th, 2014, Committee on State Vendors and Military Affairs. After consideration, the Marriage Committee recommends following House Bill 1036 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations.
Senate Services.
May 6, 2014, correctly printed, Senate Joint Resolution 40, correctly engrossed, Senate Bill 222, Senate Joint Memorials 5 and 6, Senate Joint Resolutions 31, 32, 33, 36, 38, 40, Senate Resolution 3, correctly re-engrossed, Senate Bills 202, 213, 215, 217, 221, 223, correctly revised, House Bills 1002, 1029, 1102, 1309, 1319, 1343, 1351, 1360, 1361, 1366, 1367, 1376, 1381, 1382, 1384, 1385, 1394, and 1396, House Joint Resolutions 1009, 1018, and 1019, correctly re-revised, House Bills 1015, 1023, 1037, 1085, 1089, 1096, 1118, 1279, 1281, 1301, 1311, 1355, 1373, 1378, 1379, 1380, 1383, 1387, 1388, 1390, correctly enrolled, Senate Bills 8, 15, 36, 64, 75, 92, 130, 157, 168, 171, 173, 183, and 189.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege for Senator Todd.
Heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senator Todd is granted a moment of personal privilege out of order. Senator Todd.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, everyone. I come today, and thank you very much for the moment of personal privilege, to honor and to introduce you to a Colorado family who lost their son in Afghanistan. So I have a tribute for Joshua Silverman. But let me tell you a little bit about him before I read the tribute. Joshua was assigned to the 3rd Assault Helicopter Battalion, 1st Aviation Regiment, 1st Combat Aviation Brigade, 1st Infantry Division. He was a member of the Big Red One soldiers. Joshua was born in St. Louis, Missouri. He lived in St. Louis until his last year in high school. He was a member of Civil Air Patrol and ROTC. He moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, where he graduated high school in the top 10% of his graduating class. Josh graduated from Northern Arizona University with a degree in anthropology. Fulfilling a dream, he moved to Colorado to attend cooking school and to ski. Josh moved home to help his parents pack to move to Colorado. He joined the military in Arizona and delayed basic training to get his parents moved and his aunt married. He left the next morning for basic training. Josh finished basic training and upon graduating advanced individual training. He learned he was selected as Distinguished Honor Graduate in AIT. He served as an aircraft electrician from 2005 to 2008 in Camp K-16, Korea. Josh was selected and graduated from Warrant Officer Candidate School 2009. Before attending flight school in Fort Rucker, Alabama. Upon graduation in 2011, he became a qualified UH-60 Black Hawk pilot. CW02, Silverman's first duty station was 1st U.S. Army Support Battalion, a NATO peacekeeping force located in the Sinai Peninsula, Egypt, conducting various aviation missions in support of a multinational force and observers MFO In 2012, he joined Bravo Company 3-1 Assault Helicopter Battalion, Fort Riley, Kansas, where he forward deployed to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom 1314. Chief Warrant Officer 2 Silverman's awards and decorations include the Purple Heart, the Bronze Star, the Combat Action Award, the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, Second Award, the Army Good Conduct Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the Afghan Campaign Medal with Campaign Star, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the Korean Defense Service Medal, the Army Service Ribbon, the Overseas Ribbon Second Award and NATO Medal, the Multinational Force and Observers Director General's Award, and the Aviation Badge. Chief Warrant Officer Silverman is survived by his wife, Tina Silverman, and by his parents, Barry and Susan Silverman. Chief Warrant Officer to Silverman's sister, Sarah Rebecca Silverman, died March 5, 1999, due to cancer. The tribute that we are giving to him today, and I say we because I know it is from all of us, is to honor the life and the service of Chief Warrant Officer Joshua Silverman for the Kansas National Guard. Joshua Silverman, a Chief Warrant Officer in the Kansas National Guard, gave his life for the United States of America. On December 17th, 2013, in a Black Hawk helicopter crash in Zabul province, Afghanistan. Thank you.
Senator Crowder.
Joshua B. Silverman, a Chief Warrant Officer, Second Class in the Kansas National Guard, gave his life for the United States of America on December 17, 2013, in a Black Hawk helicopter crash in Zabul province, Afghanistan. A member of the Civil Air Patrol, Joshua was an aviation enthusiast. He was a member of the 1st Combat Brigade, 1st Infantry Division, Combat Aviation Brigade, and Kansas National Guard. Joshua was based in Fort Riley, Kansas. He exhibited passions of the country, family, and faith. Joshua was greatly loved and respected by his parents, Barry and Susie Silverman, who live in Aurora, Colorado. He will be greatly missed. On request of Senator Nancy Todd, given this second day, May 2014, State Capitol, Denver, Colorado.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Madam President. And the Colorado state flag was flown over the Colorado State Capitol on May Day, on May 1st, to honor the life of Chief Warrant Officer Joshua Silverman, the Kansas National Guard. This morning we have several people here to honor and to thank for their supreme sacrifice. Joshua's parents, Barry and Susie Silverman, who are my neighbors and who are residents in Aurora, and Barry is also a veteran, and so with him and with them are their support team, and there are military support people, there's family members. Cowboy Up is a group that I want to give special recognition to for the additional support that they are giving in terms of support for the family and also dealing with some PTSD issues that Barry is suffering from his service in the military as well. It is an honor to have you with us here today. We thank you, God bless you, and thank you so very much. And we know that this is just a very small token, but we want to say thank you and how much we do appreciate your service and your son's sacrifice. Thank you very much. So you may stand up.
Members, please help welcome our guests. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Larry.
You want to take a minute just so we can say?
Members, the Senate will stand in a brief recess to allow us to greet our guests. The Senate will come back to order. Committee reports.
May 6, 2014, Committee on Business, Labor, Technology, after consideration of the Marriage Committee recommends the following House Bill 1389 be amended as follows, and also amendment for the Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs, a favorable recommendation.
Yes, right.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we proceed out of order to take up third reading of bills at this time.
For the motion, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. We will take up third reading of bills, consent calendar at this time. Mr. Majors, would you please read the titles to all of the bills on third reading consent calendar?
House Bill 1394 by Representative Duran, Senator Lambert, concerning the use of disputed payments of tobacco litigation settlement monies received by the state to reduce the annual amount of accelerated payments allocated for the tobacco litigation settlement cash fund. House Bill 1361 by Representatives McNulty and Singer, Senators Guzman and King, concerning the authority of the state licensing authority to establish equivalencies for retail marijuana products in connection therewith making an appropriation. House Bill 1367 by Representative Tyler and Senator Brophy, concerning the exemption of autocycles from regulation as motorcycles in connection therewith defining autocycle, exempting autocycles from motorcycle statutes, requiring motorcycles to be issued license plates similar to motorcycle license plates, and making an appropriation. House Bill 1351 by Representatives Norberg and Ryan, Senators Todd and Herbert, concerning the requirement that the Colorado Office of Economic Development work to maintain the state's positive relationship with the United States Armed Forces. House Bill 1309 by Representative Gardner and Senator Stedman, concerning repurposing the day surgery center of the Denver Reception and Diagnostic Center into an auxiliary medical facility. House Bill 1002 by Representative Young and Senator Jones, concerning the establishment of a grant program under the Colorado Water Quality Control Act to repair water infrastructure impacted by a natural disaster in connection therewith making an appropriation. Senate Bill 222 by Senator Aguilar and Representative Giroux, concerning the duration of a license to use as registered number when auctioned to raise money for the Disability Benefit Support Fund.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of all the bills in the third reading of bills consent calendar, which includes House Bills 1394, 1361, 1367, 1309, and Senate Bill 222. And Madam President, I also need to announce that we have removed House Bill 1351 and House Bill 1002 and placed them at the end of third reading of bills.
Okay, House Bills 1351, House Bill 1002 have been removed off of third reading consent, placed at the end of the third reading calendar. The motion is for the adoption of the remainder of the bills on third reading consent calendar. Is there any?
You can just vote no.
Senator?
Yeah.
Okay, almost there. So the motion is for the passage of all of those. Is there any discussion on any of them? Discussion. Senator Renfro.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to speak against Senate Bill 222. Members, this is a bill that came through and created an auction of license plates a few years ago, and it was set up that we would auction these plates off to raise money for a certain program or whoever, whatever. And once you got this license plate, it was yours. Just like now, if you apply for a license plate, a specialty license plate, that's yours. And you get it the next year, you get to renew it and renew it and renew it. What this bill is doing is it's taking the plates that we're putting to auction, the specialty vanity names, and it's allowing the department or the group, determined by the group, I guess it says within the bill, to decide how long you get to buy that plate for. Now think about what you're doing here. If we were told when this bill came through that there were plates in other states that sold for $1 million. Somebody wanted, I think, number one, or different names of different plates for their vanity plate. And they paid massive amounts of money for these in other states. Would you spend your money on something that you knew that you couldn't have for more than 1 year or 2 years, or someone else was deciding when you couldn't have that anymore within this? This is a monumental change to this program within what we did a couple years ago for these license plates. And I'm sorry that this came at such a late time through the session and through this chamber that we didn't have debate, or I didn't catch it, to ask questions on what's went wrong with the program. Has it raised any money? Have we auctioned off any plates yet? Or why the need for this change? Instead, it's on the consent calendar, which I think is a mistake, and so hopefully someone else will speak to that, but I'm going to be a no vote on this bill because of those reasons, which I don't see this helping the program at all.
Further discussion on any of the bills on consent, Senator Lundberg?
Thank you, Madam President. I believe it is appropriate to answer the questions that were just posed because they are excellent questions. Those are the questions I had when it came before committee. I actually will admit the error that it shouldn't have been on consent calendar. But we'll answer the concerns because here's how the system has worked or not worked out. A, they haven't auctioned off a single plate because they're still in the process of it. So no contract has been made with anybody on this, which is a distinction I see between that and some other discussions.
I'm going to pull it off consent and let you have more time. Let me just move to pull it off, and then we'll get.
And I will defer further discussion to a more appropriate time frame.
Mr. Majority Leader?
Thank you, Madam President. In view of the fact that we have a number of people wanting to speak on this bill, I request that we pull this off of the consent calendar and place it at the end of third reading of bills.
Senate Bill 222 will be removed from third reading consent calendar and placed at the end of third reading calendar. Is there any discussion on the remaining bills of third reading consent, including House Bill 1394, 1361, 1367, and 1309? Are there any no votes on any of those bills? Senator Harvey.
Thank you, Madam President. I will also be a no on 222.
That's okay. Okay, so that one has been removed. Any no votes on 1394, 1361, 1367, or 1309? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1394 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Crowder. With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1361 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Newell, Senator Rivera, Senator Crowder, Senator Johnston, Senator Roberts. With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1367 is adopted. Co-sponsors. With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 Senator Talktrap is a co-sponsor on House Bill 1367. With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1309 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Crowder, Grantham, Newell. Third reading of bills calendar. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1360?
House Bill 1360 by Representative Young and Senator Aguilar concerning the continuation of the regulation of home care agencies by the Department of Public Health and Environment in connection therewith implementing the recommendations of the 2013 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies as modified by the General Assembly and making an appropriation.
Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1360 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1360. Are there any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Crowder, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy, Marble, Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Shuffle, Renfro, Grantham, Balmer, Lundberg, Hill, Rivera. Senator Todd, do you know on House Bill? Okay. With 21 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1360 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senators Todd, Nicholson, Toptrop, Newell, Kafalas. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1319?
House Bill 1319 by Representatives Ferrandino and Holbert and Senators Lambert and Todd concerning the creation of an outcomes-based funding model for higher education in connection therewith making and reducing appropriations.
Senator Lambert.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1319 on third reading and final passage.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1319. Any no votes? Senator Zenzinger. Senator Brophy. With 33 ayes, 2 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1319 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Kerr, Senator Stedman, Kafalas, Newell, Johnston, Ulibarri. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1381?
House Bill 1381 by Representative Fields and Senator Todd concerning adoption of a school closure plan as a requirement for closing a low-performing public school.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Madam President, and I move House Bill 1381 on third and final passage.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1381. Any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Shuffle, Baumgartner, Crowder, Harvey, Lambert, Herpin, Brophy, Lundberg, Marble, Grantham, Renfro, Rivera, King, Roberts, Hill, Balmer. With 18 ayes, 17 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1381 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Zenzinger, Senator Nicholson. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1385?
House Bill 1385 by Representatives Priolo and Pettiston and Senators Johnston and Rivera concerning creation of high school academic growth awards to correspond to high school athletic award classification.
Senator Johnston.
Thank you, Madam President. We move House Bill 1385 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1385. Any no votes? Senator Crowder, Senators Baumgartner, Brophy, Renfro, Hill, Lundberg, Lambert, Marble. Mr. Majority Leader, are you a no on? Okay. With 27 ayes, 8 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1385 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Kerr, Jones, Todd, Schwartz, Newell, Kafalas, Toptrop, Herpin, Mr. Majors, would you please read the, did I miss someone? Senator Nicholson, co-sponsor, please add her as a co-sponsor on 1385. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1029?
House Bill 1029 by Representative Primavera and Senator Todd concerning a recodification of the laws governing reserve parking for persons with disabilities in connection therewith making and reducing appropriations.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1029 on third and final passage.
Any discussion? Questions the adoption of House Bill 1029. Any no votes? Senator Renfro, Senators Grantham, Crowder, Shuffle, Marble, Lundberg, Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy. Mr. Minority Leader, Senator Hill. With 23 ayes, 12 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1029 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Rivera, Toptrop, Kerr, Aguilar, Jones, Schwartz, Nicholson, Newell, Hodge, Kafalas, Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Ulibarri, Stedman, Johnston, King, Herpin,
sir.
Roberts? Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1366?
House Bill 1366 by Representatives Singer, McNulty, and Senators Johnston and King concerning reasonable restrictions on the sale of edible retail marijuana products.
Senator King.
Thank you, President Carroll. We move House Bill 1366 on final reading and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1366. Are there any no votes? Senators Brophy, Harvey. Please add the president. Senator Hill? Senator John? Senator Hill is a yes. With 31 ayes, 4 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1366 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Crowder, Senators Kerr, Jones, Schwartz, Zenzinger, Roberts, Todd, Nicholson, Newell, Hill, Rivera, Aguilar. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1343?
House Bill 1343 by Representative Singer and Wright and Senator Talktrop concerning workers' compensation coverage for post-traumatic stress disorder for peace officers.
Senator Talktrop.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1343 and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is its adoption. Any no votes? Senators Crowder, Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Renfro, Lundberg, Baumgartner, Brophy, Harvey, Lambert, Shuffle, Grantham. With 25 ayes, 10 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1343 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Ulibarri, Kerr, Rivera, Herpin, Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Aguilar, Schwartz, Todd, Zenzinger, Newell, Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Johnston, Senator King. Please add the president. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1384?
House Bill 1384 by Representatives Pedersen, McNulty, and Senators Ulibarri and Crowder concerning rigor-based tuition assistance for students at post-secondary institutions.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Madam President. We move House Bill 1384 for third and final reading. Ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Senator Ulibarri, did you?
I agree.
Question is the adoption of House Bill 1384. Are there any no votes? Senators Lundberg, Marble, Baumgartner, Shuffle, Grantham, Harvey. I have no idea who that guy is over there. Senator Brophy, Senator Renfro, Senator Rivera. Yeah, I don't know who that guy is either. All right, maybe Senator Hill, Senator Lambert. With 24 ayes, 11 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1384 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Kafalis, Senators Kerr, Johnston, Jones, Todd, Schwartz, Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Newell. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1376?
House Bill 1376 by Representatives Buckner and Moreno and Senator Ulibarri concerning the analysis of information relating to the academic success of public school students based on student placement in different instructional groups or course levels in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Ulibarri.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1376 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is its adoption. Any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Shuffle, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy, Herpin, Crowder, Lundberg, Marble, Grantham, Renfro, Rivera, Hill, King. Senator Roberts? With 19 ayes, 16 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1376 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senators Johnston, Kerr, Senators Todd, Nicholson. Mr. Majority Leader. Senator Toktrop.
Okay.
Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1382?
House Bill 1382 by Representatives Young and Wilson, Senators Kerr and Roberts, concerning the delivery of online education within the public elementary and secondary education system and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. We move House Bill 1382 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Questions to the adoption of House Bill 1382? Any no votes? Senators Lundberg, Crowder, Baumgartner, Lambert, Marble, Harvey, Hill. With 28 ayes, 7 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1382 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senators Jones, Kafalas, Newell, Todd, Johnston. Mr. Majority Leader: Senators Nicholson, Ulibarri, Rivera, King, Zenzinger, Schwartz. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1102?
House Bill 1102 by Representative Pennison and Senator Kerr, concerning gifted education programs in public schools and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1102 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1102. Are there any no votes? Senator Marble, Senator Lundberg, Senators Hill, Harvey, Mr. Minority Leader, Senator Scheffel, Lambert, Baumgartner, Brophy, Grantham, Renfro, Rivera, Roberts, King. With 21 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1102 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Crowder, Senator Ulibarri, Senators Stedman, Kafalas, Newell, Nicholson, Todd, Jones. Mr. Majority Leader: Senator Toktrop, Senators Johnston, Schwartz. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1396?
House Bill 1396 by Representative Ryden and Senator King, concerning clarification of the authority of persons acting on behalf of the Department of Public Health and Environment to administer the medical marijuana registry.
Senator King.
Thank you, President Carroll. I move House Bill 1396 on final reading and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Senator Stedman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to once again record my opposition to the procedure with this bill, which I believe contravenes the provisions of our state constitution. I support the original purpose of the bill, which was to address audit issues. I actually support the policy provisions in the amendment that has been added. But bill titles matter, and particularly here at the end of the session when so many things move so fast, we should be more diligent about enforcing the provisions of our Constitution and the procedures that are outlined there for how we pass and amend legislation in the process. The Constitution is clear that no bill should be amended to alter its original purpose, and that every bill should have a single subject clearly expressed in its title, and that all the amendments that are made to that bill need to be confined to that single subject. I believe both of those provisions have been violated here, and it's unfortunate. And I know that there are people who oppose this policy, and if they're listening, I hope they challenge it in court, because they will win. And perhaps then we will learn a lesson or be reminded certain lessons about how we are to enact legislation in this assembly pursuant to the powers conferred upon us by our state constitution. It matters. And I'm sad to see this happen, and I'm sad to be a no vote on this bill this morning, but I feel compelled to do so.
Senator Renfro.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, I just want to remind you that I guess the chair ruled that it did fit under the title, and we have rulings every day on bills, And if you've supported the 10th Mountain 2 license plate bill, then you should support this bill too.
Is there any other discussion on House Bill 1396? Are there any no votes? Madam President Pro Tem, Senator Stadman, Senator John, Senator Kafalas. With 31 ayes, 4 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1396 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Crowder. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1351?
House Bill 1351 by Representatives Nordberg and write-in, Senators Todd and Herpin, concerning a requirement that the Colorado Office of Economic Development work to maintain the state's positive relationship with the United States Armed Forces.
Senator Herpin.
Thank you, Madam President. We move House Bill 1351 on third reading and final passage.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1351. Are there any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Balmer, Marble, Lundberg, Shuffle, Crowder. Senator Balmer, I've got you. Senator Roberts. Senator John. With 27 ayes, 8 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, House Bill 1351 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Grantham. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1002?
House Bill 1002 by Representative Young and Senator Jones, concerning the establishment of the grant program under the Colorado Water Quality Control Act to repair water infrastructure impacted by a natural disaster and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1002 on third reading and final passage and ask for a yes vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1002. Are there any no votes? Senators Baumgartner, Marble, Balmer. With 32 ayes, 3 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1002 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Majority Leader, Senators Zenzinger, Newell, Stedman, Hodge, Aguilar, Schwartz, Todd, Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Rivera, King, Herpin, Roberts, Nicholson, Ulibarri. Please add the President. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 222?
Senate Bill 222 by Senator Aguilar and Representative Giroux, concerning the duration of a license to use a registration number when auctioned to raise money for the Disability Benefit Support Fund.
Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for the adoption of Senate Bill 222 on third read. Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of Senate Bill 222 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote. And members, to address Senator Renfro's question, it is unfortunate that the first auction will not be taking place until this August 21st, finally. It's been a long process with a lot of negotiations between our Department of Revenue and our Department of Motor Vehicles, but they're finally ready to go, and there's going to be a grand opening on August 21st if anyone would like to attend. In other states that do this procedure, the limitation is anywhere from 5 to 15 years, and one of the states that limits it at 5 years has made $26 million. And so since no plates have been sold, this won't be a new policy. This will be the policy that exists when the program is initiated, and the group is talking right now at 15 years. And so I would ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion on Senate Bill 222? Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader, Senator Rivera, Senators Renfro, Baumgartner, Harvey, Lambert, Brophy, Herpin, Shuffle, Marble, Grantham. With 24 ayes, 11 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Bill 222 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate take up House Bills 1001, 1369, and 1375 on special order second reading of bills at the hour of 9:55 to allow the special order calendar to be prepared and distributed.
The motion is to take up House Bills 1001, 1369, and 1375 on special order second reading of bills at the hour of 9:55. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That motion is adopted. The Senate will take up those bills on special order second reading of bills at the hour of 9:55. The Senate will stand in a brief recess to allow special orders calendars to be prepared and distributed. The Senate will come back to order. Special orders, second reading of bills. Senator Jones. You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The Senate will resolve itself into a committee of the whole for purpose of considering special orders, second reading of bills calendar, and Senator Jones will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. The code rule is relaxed. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1001, a flood odyssey?
House Bill 1001 by Representative Singer, Senator Nicholson, concerning the creation of a property tax reimbursement for a taxpayer that owes property tax on property that has been destroyed by a natural cause and in connection therewith making and reducing appropriations.
Senator Nicholson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1001 and the Finance Committee report.
To the committee report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee report changed House Bill 1001 to assure county treasurers will receive money from the state before they forgive the property or business personal property taxes. Members, I would like you to vote no. Please do vote no on the committee report. I'm going to be offering two amendments, L018 and 19 here on the desk, if you'd like to look at them. And I think that you will understand when I offer these amendments why voting no on the committee report makes sense. It's simply that the county treasurers had a better way of making it clear in statute regarding the way they would be assured of receiving the funds from the state before they forgive the taxes.
Senator Scheffel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would ask for no vote on the committee report as well. Colleagues, I think we've got a solution here to work this out, but need to reject the committee report. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the Appropriations Committee report? If seeing none, Finance Committee report, excuse me. All those voting yes? All those voting no? The amendment does not pass. Since appropriations. Mr. Majors, there's a amendment on the desk.
Amendment L019, House Bill 1001 by Senators Nicholson, Grantham, Sheffield, and Hill. Amend re-engross bill, page 2, strike lines 4 through 10, page 3, strike lines 1 through 3, and substitute 39, TAC 1, TAC 123, property destroyed by natural cause, proration, reimbursement to county, eligibility for property tax years commencing on or after January.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. L019 is an amendment to House Bill 1001 to say that instead of providing a property tax relief for real property,
Members,
going back to the
can we
beginning.
keep the noise down, please, so we can hear the speaker? Thank you. Go ahead, Senator Nicholson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Instead of going back to the beginning of the year, the property tax would be forgiven for the real property after it is harmed by a natural disaster. That happens to be in current statute right now, but what is not in current statute right now is for the assessors to forgive the business property tax after a disaster occurs. So an example might be a small cafe that could have suffered severely from the floods last September and not only lost their building but also many of the inventory inside of their cafe in Coal Creek Canyon, for example, and we wanted to provide tax relief for those citizens who own those small businesses. And in addition to that, we recognize that the counties would be struggling when they're recovering from a major disaster. Certainly that's true for the counties that have been struggling since the September flood. And we said that in this particular amendment, the state would provide the funding so that the counties would not experience a tax shortfall because of a loss of revenue by forgiving those taxes for the business property taxes and also for the citizens who lost their real property after the event. So that's the entire purpose of the amendment, and I would ask for your support.
Senator Nicholson, would you please move the amendment?
I apologize, Mr. Chair. Yes, I move L019.
Discussion. Senator Grantham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I also ask for an aye vote on this, colleagues, on L019. This does fix some things that were, I think, some of the issues that are surrounding this bill as it came out of the House, and some of the things that it was trying to accomplish. I think we actually have created a situation here with this amendment that is truly fair and truly beneficial in situations where people need it the most. Originally, this had a refundable tax credit for a portion of the year where the house was actually in use. This does away with that and actually goes back to what the assessor can already do for real property, and actually fixes in statute for business personal property tax what we should be able to do there as we already do with real property. This is creating a similar situation for BPPT now, and makes it, I think, easier for our assessors to deal with when we have these natural disasters. Now they don't have to do one thing for real property and another thing for business personal property tax, and the original form of this bill would have even actually heightened that problem by creating a situation where you're creating a refundable tax credit for in a retrospective sense, and already doing the prospective reassessment after the property was destroyed. But then if you have a disaster mid-year, there was no provision for business personal property tax for being prorated from the time forward from when it was destroyed. And so this would have created the refundable tax credit for the entire year for BPPT. This fixes that, makes it uniform with what real property is, and this is a great solution to this bill, and I would ask for an aye vote.
Senator Scheffel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just would like to also ask for support for L019. I appreciate the sponsor willingness to run this amendment, which I believe does appropriately correct this bill. There was the issue with the retroactivity. That's now been corrected so that the relief is forward prospective only. It clarifies and includes the business personal property tax, which I think is important, and was the example that's been given where a business could suffer loss due to natural disaster, and they would be covered on the real property side, but their equipment would be lost, and they would continue to have to pay the business personal property tax, which is an onerous tax, and at the outset, but at least there would be limited relief in the case of natural disaster. And again, there's no harm to the local municipalities, towns, et cetera, because the state's doing a 100% backfill for this. I think it's an appropriate amendment and corrects the bill. Would ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion for the body is L019. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. There is another amendment on the desk. Mr. Majors, would you please read L018?
Amendment L018 to House Bill 1001 by Senator Nicholson, amend reading gross bill page 7 after line 8, insert E. Nothing in this subsection 5 shall be construed to require a county treasurer to credit or
Senator Nicholson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Chair. L018 is the language that I was describing earlier that is better articulated in L018 to allow the treasurers, the county treasurers, to only credit or pay the taxes on any destroyed property after they receive the funding from the state. So the counties are assured of being made whole in that process. So I would ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion on L018? Please move the amendment, Senator Nicholson.
I move L018.
Seeing no further discussion, the question for the body is the adoption of L018. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. I think there's 2 or 3. To the bill, Senator Nicholson, or do you have more amendments? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No more amendments. The purpose of 1001 was to address some challenges that we recognized when we participated on the flood study committee. This indeed was one of the bills that was approved by the Flood Study Committee. It establishes a state reimbursement mechanism for certain property taxes owed or paid for real property and business personal property that has been completely destroyed in a natural disaster or by other cause beyond the control of the property owner.
Senator Grantham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just adding on again, this is a great bill. Please vote yes.
Any further discussion? Question for the body is the adoption of House Bill 1001. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. House Bill 1001 is adopted. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title of 1369?
House Bill 1369 by Representative Young, Senators Crowder and John, concerning required licensure for durable medical equipment suppliers in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We bring before you House Bill 1369, and basically what it is it's a required license for durable medical equipment suppliers in connection therefore. And what this is doing is we're trying to the durable medical people, we're asking them to be licensed with the state of Colorado and also be a fixture within the state of Colorado for access. A lot of times there will be, these are people that deal directly with Medicare patients and whatnot, and we felt that it was better in the best interest of that consumer and or patient to have access to the people. So many times these equipment supply licensors are out of state, and therefore we have no access to them. So we think this is a relatively simple bill that will greatly enhance the Medicare and Medicaid recipients. Thank you.
Can you please move the bill, Senator Crowder?
Yes, sir. I move House Bill 1369, and there are no committee reports.
Senator John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the one piece that I want to add is that the reason Colorado was taken out of play was because of a ruling that the Center for Medicaid and Medicare have done. And so it really has sent all of the business for these medical devices, the wheelchairs, the oxygen tanks, all of the medical devices that you and I all have know people that use. It has taken it out of Colorado now because we're not registered with the Secretary of State, which is all we're doing, and sending them to Kansas, to Florida, to Texas, and to all of those companies. So we have small businesses right here in Colorado that now really can't participate. So I do have a chart that I will be happy to share with anyone to show the process. So that is what we're doing. It's really very simple, just taking it to the Secretary of State's office.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I supported this in committee and will on the floor, and wanted to explain just a little bit because it does say licensure in there, but as the sponsor just said, that means registration with the Secretary of State's office, and it's not a heavy regulatory burden. What it is it's allowing the businesses that are based in Colorado to actually be identified as suppliers of durable medical equipment, and it's a bit of a win-win as I see it, in that those Colorado businesses are then the authorized recipients of, or I should say those businesses that have a physical presence in Colorado, because it's not restricting it to just Colorado businesses, but you have to be able to sell and service the equipment here in Colorado, and that's pretty important. If you're in a wheelchair, you need it now, and you're not able to go across the country or ship it across the country. And then secondly, the term licensure is to satisfy the federal requirements, but as I say, the reality is it's a registration with the Secretary of State. So with that, I can live with the terms that the feds are driving down our throats, and I'll support the bill.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the question for the body is the adoption of House Bill 1369. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. 1369 is adopted. Mr. Rogers, would you please read the title of House Bill 1375?
House Bill 1375 by Representative Del Grosso, Senators Tocktrop and King, concerning modifications to statutory provisions governing urban redevelopment to promote the equitable financial contribution among affected public bodies in connection with the tax increment financing of urban redevelopment projects.
Senator Tocktrop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move 1375, and I move the Judiciary Committee report, and I ask that we reject the Judiciary Committee report. So I ask for a no vote on the Judiciary Committee report.
Further discussion? Senator Johnston.
I will stand just out of swinging distance over here, maybe a little farther off to the side. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would respectfully ask for a yes vote on the committee report. And folks probably know the background history on this, but we had 4 or 5 hours of great testimony in our committee about the challenge of this. And what you'll see is that there are 2 really great parts of the bill that the committee report keeps in. One is making sure that county commissioners have a seat at the table, which is a phrase we've heard a lot in terms of making sure they have a representative on urban renewal authorities that make these decisions. The second is making sure that when there is excess money left over, that money gets returned to all the jurisdictions pro rata, and we've kept that part of the bill in as well. The middle part that we took out, I think, is this difficult component where we are putting in state mandate what the required sharing allocation of revenues needs to be between districts and between cities. And I think one of the things that came up from the testimony is just how complex these deals are and how difficult it is to actually get to a clear definition of what fairness means, whether or not that is about the tax rate, whether about that is the number of tax dollars, whether about that is the percentage of the tax base involved. But I think what we heard a lot of is these deals are very complex and require more flexibility. And so I would ask for a yes vote on the committee report.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I ask that you support the sponsor of the bill and reject the committee report. If you look at the revised fiscal note, it drives a high fiscal, but more importantly than that, it really completely turns the bill upside down. And I've supported 1375 because it does strike that appropriate balance that brings everybody to the table. And the judiciary report, unfortunately, was amended in committee in such a way that it will, as they say, turn the bill upside down. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create that sense of balance and equity between the cities and the counties when it comes to TIF. This involves revenue from both of those jurisdictions. And if these special programs are to go forward, there ought to be everyone at the table on the front end. I believe the bill was appropriate when it got to judiciary, and it got hurt in the amending process. Please vote to reject. Therefore, vote yes on the motion to reject the committee report. Just vote no. Vote no. Help me here. Okay, let me be clear here, because I certainly made it complicated. Vote no on the committee report. That will give us the bill in its correct form to then have proper debate when we get to the bill.
Senator Kavalis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, colleagues. I rise in support of the bill sponsor's request to reject the Senate Judiciary Committee report, and my main reason is that portion of the bill that was removed, in my opinion, is one of the incentives that helps bring everyone to the table, municipalities and counties, to come up with an agreement on what is the proper way to do tax increment financing. So I think that part of the bill is critical. I believe it should be restored into the bill. The matter of studying this issue, it's been studied for a long time, and TIF is an important economic development tool, but there are concerns about the balance between taxing districts as well as municipalities and the counties, and I think this bill goes a long ways to helping to restore a proper balance. The relationships between the different entities ought to be mutually beneficial, and I think this bill helps us get there. Thank you.
Senator Toctrump, did you want to speak, or Senator Heath?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I have had a long-standing conversation with the Boulder County folks, both at the city and the county, on this bill. And I am convinced the county is wholeheartedly in supportive of the bill as it stood, as originally introduced. The city is at a neutral position on the bill. I feel strongly and agree with the bill sponsor that by taking out this section and going to a study really does not accomplish anything. We've done countless studies. I do think, as the previous two speakers have said, that this strikes a responsible balance. This is certainly, TIF is something that we need to have, but it should only be used in appropriate circumstances. And, you know, we strayed from that a lot when we've gotten away from using it only for blighted. And I realize this bill doesn't deal with that, but it's all part of the general issue. So I would ask for, as the sponsor has, asked for a no vote on the committee report.
Very good. Thank you. Senator Toctrump.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, I ask for a no vote on the committee report. You heard all the arguments. It essentially removes the most important portions of the bill that folks have been working on for many years. You want studies? Here's studies. And they will be at my desk. Anybody that wishes to read them, if you don't, you know, if you're bored or anything, these are TIF studies. So again, I ask for a no vote on the committee report.
Any further discussion on the committee report? If seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report. Division has been called. All those not entitled to vote, please be seated. That means everybody in the chamber, please be seated if you are not entitled to vote. In the back left, Representative Sane, Senator Marble.
Senator Marble, sit down, please.
All those in favor, please stand. All those opposed, please stand. The chair is not in doubt. The amendment is lost. To the bill, Senator Toctrump. The committee report's lost, sorry. Senator Toctrump.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I just asked for a no vote, a yes vote on the bill. There's a lot of people that want to talk. We had some vigorous discussion on this bill, and one of the things that I want to mention about that this bill brings everybody to the table. It puts skin in the game when you're talking about TIF financing between the counties and the cities and the special district. It allows it evens things out with the percentages. And, you know, when we sat in committee, we talked about numbers. And numbers are a lot like statistics. You can kind of bend them any way that you wish. And this is how I felt that the folks that were testifying against the bill, that they tended to pretty much talk about the numbers the way that they chose to see fit. I didn't see any real reason about this, but one of the things, again, this bill does, like I will say, it brings everybody to the table. It evens the playing field. Presently, right now, because of TIF financing, it impacts special districts. It also impacts our school districts. And this year, and all of those that are interested in school finance and really care about school financing and getting rid of the negative factor, let's look at this. Right now, the state of Colorado is backfilling over $100 million this past fiscal year towards school finance because TIF financing. If we had that extra $100,000 that we could put into the negative factor, think about how much further that would go towards public education. And I know there's a lot of people up here that would like to discuss the bill, and I will see to them.
Senator Balmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, members, I rise in strong support of House Bill 1375. Let me tell you why. And of course, some people have said, well, you know, it's because you're picking your county commissioners over your city council. Actually, I didn't hear from a single city council person saying that they wanted me to oppose 1375. But that's because the municipalities in my area possibly have not been too abusive with TIF. But some municipalities have. And the people that strongly encouraged me to support 1375 were the special districts. South Metro Fire, which serves a large area in my district. Cunningham Fire District. The school districts. A number of special districts, park districts, have all communicated to me that they don't have any part of the decision-making process, and yet their mill levies are affected. So we really are bringing equity and fairness into this whole discussion by passing this bill, and I'm a strong supporter. I hope that you will vote yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Zinziger.
Thank you, members. I would urge a no vote on this bill. One of the arguments that's being put out is that cities and county district property taxes are being used without their permission. And I just need to say that this statement is distorted because the premise of tax increment financing, the property tax increment is directly allocated to the Urban Renewal Authority because the increment is generated by the Urban Renewal Project. County and district money is not taken. It's the project's money for the first 25 years. Everybody continues to collect the base amount that was already in existence without the project. The benefit of the project is that the windfall at the end is 100, 200, sometimes 400 times more than what it would have been to begin with. Let me just give you an example about some of the projects in my community. The former Westminster Mall was really at the core of our community for nearly 2 decades, but with the previous owners refusing to reinvest into the mall, it quickly became dilapidated and blighted, and it began acting like a cancer negatively on impacting surrounding our properties. And it also meant that the community had lost part of its identity. The continuing decline of the mall also significantly impacted tax sale collections, with only $500,000 being generated for the city from its $8 million in the peak, and the property tax collections for the county down to approximately $500,000 as well. In 2012, the city of Westminster took a bold step in revitalizing that area and acquired almost the entire property with approximately $35 million. That was the city's money that they spent over the last couple of years putting together what was a really complicated development agreement that will likely require an additional $36 million in infrastructure improvements to the site in order to get it ready for development. If the City of Westminster did not have the URA TIF as a tool, this project would have taken over 140 years in order to pay it off, and thus would not be viable. It is also worth noting that the county has to date invested nothing in the project, and it stands to benefit greatly in the long run. In addition, the community will once again have a place to gather. Let me also give you the example of some projects that are happening in my other community in Senate District 19 in Arvada. The Urban Renewal and Tax Increment tool currently allows development to pay its own way. And by capturing that incremental property and sales tax that are generated by the new development, counties and special districts make no upfront investment in the project, but they do reap the increased property tax value as those projects move forward. And they receive an annual windfall when the project area, or an annual windfall when the project area expires. Now, currently, there is a belief that urban renewal districts create a financial hardship for counties and special districts. But I want to give you a real-life example of how that is not true. And in fact, just the opposite. Arvada's first urban renewal project area, which was called City Center, which was from 1981 to 2006, in that area, the property tax base value at the start of the city center was 13 million. So the base value, 13 million, and it continued to increase during the life of the project to 23 million. The base value increased by over $10 million. And the base is not a static number, but it increases during the biannual assessments. This is a 75% increase in base value for the city center that counties and special districts benefited from during the 25-year life of the URA. In addition to that, let me talk to you about another project that actually has a little bit of a state connection to it, and that's called the Ridge Home. Ridge Home Hospital, which was a state hospital, was a large 68-acre campus specializing in treatment of mental health patients. The first buildings were constructed in the 1920s and eventually growing to over 50 structures before closing their doors in the 1980s. That campus was abandoned and sat vacant for over 20 years. The dilapidated buildings became unsafe and a haven for crime, graffiti, and homelessness. Unfortunately, the site, located at I-70 and Kipling, is a key gateway into the cities of Arvada and Wheat Ridge. And due to the environmental contamination, the demolition costs, the infrastructure needs, the redevelopment site was just absolutely not feasible for private developers. It was only with the assistance of the Urban Renewal Authority that the Ridge Home site was transformed into a transit-oriented mixed-use development. And the 68-acre project is being developed in 3 phases. Currently, we have the Arvada Ridge Market, which has a super target anchoring the retail center. We also have a 380-unit market rate multifamily development located right across the street from the commuter rail station. And then pretty soon, we will have the primary opportunity that remains approximately 11 acres north of the rail station that will be a mix of residential and commercial uses, linking that station to Red Rocks Community College. The ongoing redevelopment of this Ridge Home site is a huge success, and it transformed what I believe and what most people believe to be a blighted, grossly underutilized property into a safe center of activities, services, and residences, as well as positioned to contribute to the arrival of the commuter rail in 2016. We hear a lot about how we need to fix urban renewal. And I would agree, there are some elements of urban renewal that definitely need to be fixed, but I don't believe that those elements are in this bill. I think that unfortunately, it's a simplistic understanding of how actual urban renewal projects work. County and district investments in the project currently are zero, but their benefit continues to grow once the projects are started. Other taxing entities do receive property tax revenue that they have received in the past, plus they get incremental increases due to the reassessments. And they also benefit from the increased values of neighboring properties. Counties continue to collect increased county sales tax by those surrounding neighborhoods. And at the conclusion of these projects, all property taxing entities receive a tremendous windfall that were only created by the success of the project. So I urge a no vote.
Members, it's getting a little loud in here. If we could pay attention a little bit, please, I'd appreciate it. Senator Kafalas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in support of House Bill 1375, and I'll make my comments brief. I think that this is a bit of a tough issue for me because on the one hand, a lot of where this bill is coming from is based on some of the dynamics that have occurred in Fort Collins and Larimer County regarding various tax increment financing projects over the years. I want to make sure that it's clear that I believe that tax increment financing as it is in the Urban Renewal Authority statutes is an appropriate tool for economic development of distressed areas. And an example where I think that TIF was used well in my community is the North College Avenue corridor, where we did a lot of good work, infrastructure work, to help those small businesses, business incubators, and others to do better. So I think it is an appropriate tool. And what I think about this bill is that it provides the rationale for all of the stakeholders to come together and come up with agreements that benefit all of the taxing entities. I think that fundamentally the goal of this bill is not to impose or mandate a cookie-cutter solution on all urban renewal projects, but it is to create an incentive for municipalities to respect the taxing power of their fellow local governments and still allow options for finding ways to come up with working collaboratively together for economic development, not just to benefit the municipality, but to benefit the whole community, because municipalities, last time I looked, are actually located within counties. So there needs to be that kind of interaction and that kind of synergy. The last point I'll make in support of House Bill 1375 is that some of the unintended consequences, if we're not all at the table, is that you have redirection of tax dollars that the voters approve for particular purposes. So in Larimer County, we have the Foothills Gateway, which is our community center board, and they provide services to individuals, persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And over the last number of years, something like almost $1 million has been redirected into away from the services they provide. At a minimum, it seems like they should be able to have more input into how these things unfold. And then there is the issue of mill levy overrides and where voters approve, or capital construction for schools, a school district that voters approve, and those purposes are very specific, and I believe that if we don't use TIF properly, it moves us away from the intent of the voters and the taxpayers. And for all of those reasons, I respectfully ask for your support of House Bill 1375. Thank you for listening, colleagues.
Senator Rivera.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I come here in opposition to this bill, and in the hopes that there are some of my colleagues out here that are on the fence, and maybe I could possibly convince someone to join with me in opposition. Let me just say this. This is a classic case of the government actually having a program that really works in the way that it's supposed to work. They get into an area, they start to develop it, and the money from the increase in taxes then becomes money to be leveraged to improve other areas. That's it in a nutshell. Things worked really good, and it was a 25-year period. Now, things worked really good, and the program was kind of left alone while it was in its infancy. But now that there are substantial funds in those programs, suddenly, and we're on lean economic times, suddenly folks looking and saying, wow, here's some money that we could use for our programs. And granted, money is short, and so it's very tempting to do so. But by doing that, I believe what will happen will be, in effect, killing the goose that lays the golden egg. A classic governmental mistake that we make over and over again. Very, very short-sighted. Very, very short-sighted to do that. I ask that we reject this bill, and if there are problems with urban renewal authorities that don't properly redevelop the areas they should, address that problem. But don't dismantle the program the way it has been so successful over the years. There have been numerous examples, both by the senator from Arvada and senator from up north, to give examples of how beneficial the program is. But that's in the form that it is in. There's no argument that it's a good program. Don't dismantle it. Leave it alone. And if needs fine-tuning as far as the locations, let's do that. But don't change the basic program. Vote no.
Senator Talktrump.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I do want to stand corrected. You know, I got misinformation, and like I said before, numbers and crunching numbers are a lot like statistics. I did say that because of tax increment financing, that $100 million was going to school finance. Again, I stand corrected. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And when I'm right, I'm always right. But anyway, it was only $43.4 million because of tax increment financing went towards school finance.
Senator King.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I ask for an aye vote on 1375.
Any further discussion on House Bill 1375? If not, the motion for the body is the adoption of House Bill 1375. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. No. The ayes have it. 1375 is passed. Where am I going here? Majority Leader Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we rise and report.
You've heard the motion for the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
Thank you, Senator Jones.
Sure. My pleasure. It's kind of fun.
Good reminder. The Senate will come back to order. Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Mr. Majors, would you please read the report?
May 6, 2014, Madam President, your committee of the whole vacancy reports under consideration the following tax bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1001 is amended. House Bill 1369, House Bill 1375 passed the second reading in order to revise, placed to the counter for third reading and final passage.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of the report.
Any discussion? Question for the body is the adoption of the committee report. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, the committee report is adopted. House Bill 1001 is amended. House Bill 1369, House Bill 1375 passed on second reading, order revised, placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Message from the House.
May 6, 2014, Madam President, in response to the request of the Senate, the Speaker has appointed Representatives Peniston as Chairman, Fields and Murray as House conferees of the First Conference Committee on Senate Bill 182. In response to the request from the Senate, the Speaker has appointed Representatives Kraftthorpe as Chairman and Schaefer and McNulty as House conferees on the First Conference Committee on Senate Bill 88. The House has granted authorization to go beyond the scope of the differences.
Announcements. Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to make the announcement that the Conference Committee on Senate Bill 88 will be held today at 1:15 in House Committee Room 0111. Thank you.
Today, I'm like ready to conk. Oh, that is so adorable you brought that. So I'll announce Tourism Day and you can announce that, okay? You're announcing tourism? Yep. And were you announcing tourism day? No, I was announcing.
Other announcements? Senator Schwartz and Roberts, same or different announcement? Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, today is Tourism Day at the Capitol. Then I welcome everyone to the West Steps. You're going to have your mascots. 11:30, the governor is going to kick off our tourism season, and we welcome everyone out between 11 and 1 to join us on the West Steps, and I think it'll be a Discover Colorado rally. Colorado has so much to offer. It's such an extraordinary industry for our state. Let's go out and celebrate with folks that have come from all over the state, and have a beautiful afternoon with really touting the benefits of all of our different parts of the state, especially the western slope.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, coincidentally, you have on your desk today what you need to come to Durango. All you need is your sunglasses and your bag. And the bag is to buy lots of things in Durango and fill it up nicely. So you all look great in these glasses. I just want to say I asked the Durango Tourism Office to send me some brochures. Next thing I knew, my suitcase was full of all of these goodies. So I want to thank Durango for sending these out, and please do come visit. Let me know ahead of time. Senator Renfro came last time but called me as he was driving his motorcycle through town. So if you can give me a heads up, would love to meet you in town if possible. Thanks.
Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Madam President. I just will ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
I don't know if you noticed these gorgeous young people that were sitting over in this corner over here, and they are busy taking a tour, but they are from Lake City, the community school. They have been awarded the John Irwin Award, and that is 4 years of the highest academic achievement. So Lake City, Hinsdale County has these remarkable young people that have come to the Capitol, and I just, we're unfortunately not going to be on the floor when they come back, but I wanted, if you do see them, for you to acknowledge that tremendous accomplishment. 4 years of the highest academic award, Lake City, Colorado.
Senator Harvey.
Thank you, Madam President, and I wanted to point out one more beautiful person that's sitting over there on the left side of the aisle. Mrs. Harvey has joined me today. Would you all help me recognize Janie? Stand up, Janie.
Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to offer Mrs. Harvey a free mental status examination. And I want to welcome some students we have here from University of Colorado Hospitals and Clinics who are working to be in the medical field over here on the right. And Mrs. Harvey, I'm kidding. He's a very nice man.
Welcome. Members, please help us welcome our guests over here on this side of the chambers. If you guys would stand up and let us recognize you. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, let me just tell you what we're going to do here, and we're going to recess in a minute. We have, as you can see, cleared the calendars. We've got committees that have to meet to get us bills later this afternoon. And so we're going to recess until 3:30, just to let everybody know. Also, while we've been meeting here, had a few moments, State Affairs is going to meet right after we recess back in their normal committee room to hear House Bill 1389. Appropriations is going to meet immediately after we recess, approximately 11 o'clock, to hear House Bills 1036, 1377, 1393, 1395. We've got committees on concurrence and so forth also going on. And then just so you know, we're going to plan to take care of those when we come back, and then begin our tributes to our departing members this afternoon as well, just so all of you can give a little thought to that. And have a little fun and say our goodbyes and give them our best wishes. So, Senator Kerr, did you have any announcements you needed to make? That would be fine. Yes, go ahead.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to ask for a moment of personal privilege for a tribute.
Granted.
Thank you, Madam President. If you did not know, today is Teacher Appreciation Day. Usually we do have a resolution for this, but this year we did do a tribute and love to read it to you today. For the teachers of Colorado, for continuing to mentor, inspire, and motivate the future leaders of tomorrow. Teachers spend countless hours outside of the classroom enriching the lives of students. Despite cuts in education funding over the last several years, the teachers of Colorado continue to provide a world-class education to their students. We recognize and express our gratitude for Colorado's teachers for their hard work and dedication to Colorado's children on this 2014 Teacher Appreciation Day. Request Senator Andy Kerr, signed Morgan Carroll, President of the Senate. And I'd just like to thank all of my fellow teachers throughout the state, whether you're in preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, all of the different choices and options of schools that we have here in Colorado. This tribute's for you.
Would just recognize me? Okay. Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate recess until 3:30 p.m.
For the motion, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The Senate will stand in recess until 3:30 p.m. later today.
Did they make an announcement for the business committee?